level 33, almost. I'm literally 30 XP off. Hey boys, what's up? Welcome. We are officially past the 24-hour mark at the time you're watching this video. We're probably closer to 2 days, day and a half, splitting hairs. I just want to talk about this game a bit because as you can see from my account level, I played it a fair bit. I played it a damn lot, okay? And I want to say like the do's and don'ts, the rookie mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But mainly I think if anyone's got an opinion to be had on this game, to shed both good and bad lights on it, it's someone who has a 30+ account rank level, alright? So if you do like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to ask me any questions, do so by doing it in the comments, joining Discord in the description, or while we're live. We're live every other day of the week on YouTube and on Twitch, links in the description as well. But let's get into it. One of the things that a lot of people ask me about is the base. And look, as you can see, my base, my initial regular base, the AIC, is pretty standard. I'm literally making nothing more than a bunch of Farium parts to then build level 2 mining rigs so I can mine the next stage of the game to get things kind of through. But when it comes to using your factory to build gear and everything like that, don't stress too much, if at all, about it, okay? There is a mission where you will talk to Andre, the owl guy, and he will run you through a base level building that will get you level 28 gear for everything. This stuff here is what I'm talking about, okay? This will get you through the majority of the game. You could probably beat the boss fight of Island 4 pretty comfortably with it, providing you have a couple brain cells and you have leveled up your character without much issues at all. So you will know you're at that mission with Andre where he will be standing right where you see him right now, this big old idiot. And when you talk to him, he wants you to make a lot of miners' pajamas and everything of the like, minor overalls, not pajamas, I'm so dumb, to get through and pass on to the next people that are going on like an expedition. Whatever the lore excuse is, it gets you a base belt that is at the very entry level of it to get equipment on your characters to not start getting washed in combat. Because by that time, you start getting washed in combat a little bit. The base doesn't cost anything. I want that to really be known to people. It doesn't cost you squat other than time. But I think in early game like this, if you are someone who has FOMO or falling behind of other players, I would recommend leaving this until you beat the final boss of Island 4. I haven't done that yet because I've had the luxury of playing this game non-stop. I have slightly leveled up above that level 36. As you can see here, my regular gear now is 36 blue. It's going to be purple, probably when you watch the next video I put out. But it's not needed. I want that to be stressed. If I wanted to spend my time differently, I would just keep traversing through the missions, doing world missions, and getting ascension mats for my characters instead of min-maxing the base and getting everything there is to be done, like the tutorials and stuff like that, out and gone, alright? You don't need to get them out of the way initially. But the other factors of the game have been pretty good. I haven't minded the base building. Now, I'm not by any means someone who is obsessed with the idea of base building, but it is a really cool feature to have. And the fact it's our way of getting gear instead of it being RNG based like in other games, that's a big thumbs up. Look, now let's talk about the next thing. Alright, the next thing worth mentioning is probably going to be the stock market, because it is a cool feature in concept, but I will say, in terms of execution, it's kind of mid. I love the idea of a stock market being in a gacha game that has fluctuative kind of pricing. It is, for all intents and purposes, a different currency, as you can see when I minimize my face cam. It is called Valley Stock Bills. And these bills are used to make the things that we were aforementioned building the combat gear. The combat gear here, as you can see, it is a currency of the Valley Stock Bill. It is separate from credits, which I absolutely love, because if you were to put credits through it as well, you'd be broke 24/7. To essentially build up a character, it costs 30,000 stock bills and then some with the actual mats you need to get it done from time in the game of mining ores. But look, my personal gripe with the stock bills is in early game, they are too expensive. I'll just be the one to say it. And again, it's only been a day. This is a minor issue. The early game stock market is a pain until you unlock the level 2 node where you can start doing deliveries. Once you start getting the deliveries side of things done, that's when you can infinite money glitch. But that being said, you can still kind of do it anyway. Because when you are to go into the stock market here, buy elastic goods, sell these. As you can see, I bought these at 743. The average cost of these is recommended price of these. As you can see, I still have my fucking live stream overlay on. Whoops. The recommended cost you can see here is actually $12.57. So these are down right now. So I bought them while they're low. what you do is when you click sell, you go to friends price and you just go through your friends list. By the way, the easiest way to get through early game in this iteration of Endfield is by just adding anyone who ever sends you a friend request and sending out every suggested friend request there is. Because some people get really high conversion rates. So for every 700 you spend in your world, you just get 4,000. It is legitimate infinite money. It is soft cap at the ability to spend and sell. So, for example, I can't buy anymore. So I am capped at purchasing 160 a day as of right now until server reset, okay? And then when server resets, I have the ability to buy them at, I could buy 65 versions of this, right? Provided I need the stock bills to get there, but let's say they're 1,000 each, I spend 65,000 stock bills, I get back off my friends list 400 times that, or 400% more. So 65,000, close to 300,000 back. And you can do that daily, by the way, without all the other ways to get that. There's plenty of ways to get through and deal with the stock build system to be able to build more gear and get everything going, but it has a little bit of friction on entry just with the way a lot of things are laid out here. Now, I don't think it's bad. I actually kind of do think it is a very good thing that it does separate from using credits to build stuff, because if it did, then that is yet another currency used for credits, and that shit is going to dry up fast, okay? So the stock market, once you get it, if I was to make any recommendations, I would go to your stock posts and level this up as much as humanly possible. Now, you level these up by going to your outpost stock redistribution. Sorry, is it outpost management? You go to your outpost management and you trade with your outposts. So as you can see here, if I minimize my face cam, I have a over surplus of Origo crust. So what I do with Origo crust is I can just sell it off. I can sell 5,000 of this off, where someone gives 20% extra, trade that. It also gives them XP, as you can see here at the top. There we go, 6k and 5,000 XP to then push it further to then level up regional development. Every time you level up one of these, you get a Gamba, you get 200 Orbital, you also get some credits, XP mats, and proto prisms. Now, the proto prisms are probably the next thing I do want to inherently talk about, because they're pretty goddamn important and you aren't going to farm them traditionally. You're probably going to use all of your stamina, your daily stamina, your sanity, whatever you'd like to call it, on XP mats or credit mats, which I think is probably the wrong way to do this. If I was to do it again, starting from 1 instead of level 32, 33, humble brag, I would split it evenly between XP and proto prisms, alright? Proto prisms are essentially the lifeblood of every character getting any skill leveled up ever, and they end up scaling fast. So, I haven't mentioned it in this video yet, but as you guys can tell, I am running the 4 stars only, just to see how far I can push this game to prove gambling is merely an option. It is not the only means to an end of beating endgame. And I'm loving it. I'm currently level 60 in everything, and you'll be able to tell what I mean by this when it gets to the prisms. So level 1 prisms costs 5 for extra agility, costs 10 for extra agility, and then you have to scale these to build them up to get the higher versions, which in turn also get very expensive very quickly. Now you extrapolate this on every character, let's say 10, 20, 35, it's about 50 at level 40 on average across characters. Not to mention you also need them for leveling up combat skills. They are used in everything that isn't directly making your character's level go up. And if you just farm XP mats, like I made the dumb decision of doing, I'm kind of skint on them once I do end up smashing these through. This number 360 may seem like a lot. Just for proof of concept, I will level up. Who has low level in my 4 right now?
A strong team is one.
I will level up my Estella, okay? And this is only on 4 characters, by the way, which you get for free too, mind you. So if you wanted to ever make a rotational squad or make more characters, amplify that and keep that in mind for your account too. So I have 368 and I'm leveling 2 things to level 3.
So getting better means
So you level them, leveling them to the base level of a level 40 privilege. I've already burnt through 30 of them. And that scales a lot quicker when I want to view and level up talent nodes, as well as when I put them to 60. I want to be doing these as well. When I level up trust as well, these will become a factor. And it just keeps going. Look, for example here, if I want to give this talent upgrade, it's a double of cryo infliction. If you guys can't read that screen there, if I minimize, ignores cryo infliction and receives cryo damage 10%. It now doubles that to 20%. That's 48. You need these things like you need oxygen across 4 characters getting this, and that's on a level 40 to 60 unlock, that is already nearly 200 in use. Keep in mind, I have 2 characters currently at level 60.
Let me do something for it.
So if I wanted to do them, which I already have, it burnt through so much. I hate saying it, you see it in every single goddamn thumbnail. Don't make that mistake. Split them down evenly in the middle. Because you're not going to need multiple teams early game, but you are going to need decked out characters when need be. Also, yeah, weapons are cool. There's not really anything to say with weapons. This stuff is pretty decent to come by. You don't run out of weapon tuning kind of stuff easily. You get it natively. I don't think I've ever farmed it yet. I actually think it's unlocked on my map, and I'm still finding ways to get it. That's weapon XP, which I've never had to use yet. And this one here is, yeah, this one's the weapon level up. So I've had no need to really farm these yet. They're pretty good. You can leave these alone. You don't need to farm your weapons. Just playing the game, using the codes that you get for day 1, and doing side missions, they're going to farm themselves. So don't waste time on those. Go exclusively character XP. The Ascension match you can kind of miss a little bit too. Don't stress about these. Only farm them when you need them. These are what level your character up, as you can see, to E1 to E2. So level 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60. Only get them when needed. Don't get surpluses. But as for these, I cannot stress enough, farm proto prisms like your life depends on it. You will always need these. As of right now, those are probably the biggest mess ups I've had. Again, this isn't a video on what to do right and do wrong. It's probably, it's just a couple of things I wanted to really mention for people who are still slowly pushing through the game that don't have the luxury of being able to play 12 hours a day at the moment. But I also want to talk about the game itself right now, okay? Because it's had a mixed reception. I can understand people's opinions are going to be very different on everything here and the way it works and the combat, everything like that. A lot of people are not fans of the current combat. Now, I made this claim, which you guys can agree or disagree with, but the combat in this game is very similar, just with minor tweaks and changes to the Wuthering Waves and Genshins of the world, right? It is a 3D open space gacha with skill effects and follow-up attacks, just with their own kind of flavor. There's not much here that's different, okay? For example, I use my flu right here, wait for the pop gives elemental affliction, I then use this to get a combo attack on the skill, and then that charges ultimates. Ultimates get charged, ultimates get pushed in game, which then in turn give more combat triggers as you see there, and the cycle just repeats itself, really, alright? There ain't exactly much to it. I personally find this very enjoyable, because the combat in this game is more actually theory crafting. Shut up for a second, Akaguri. The theory crafting and team building of this game is kind of what it's going to sound insane to say, but if it makes sense, the combat in this game, getting good at it, is mainly conjuring up team compositions. There isn't much more, because once they're out on the field and you have a baseline understanding, you're pretty much going to hit triggers anyway, unless you are so dumb and you just put the same everything, they all hit off like break effect or something, and there is no synergy past that. You're gonna probably hate the game if that's the way you're playing it. But if you enjoy the nitpicking, deciding,
we ready to play?
Combo triggers, everything like that, when enemies have 2 or more stacks of cryo or nature affliction, you get an explosion, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh okay, so I now know the way I play this is I have to use a Stella to hit 2 times for cryo amplification and give cryo infliction. That will then trigger my flu right.
We ready to play?
To deal nature damage and arts infliction, okay? And then once that's done, as you can see the follow-up here, when an enemy with native focus suffers a physical status of arts infliction, it then triggers him. So 2 skills of this. This skill is immediately triggered from other elements. So Akakuri using base elements will then trigger Estella to use her combo trigger, triggering her combo trigger, then using a skill after that will give 2 cryo stacks, which then hits my flu right and then hits in turn my antel. You understand what I'm saying here? That is the combat. The combat system in this game is a thought process to put out on the field. It's like you're the manager of a football team. That's the best way I can explain it, right? You get the enjoyment of putting everything together, but when it comes to actually play, you're at the mercy of them working as intended. Now, granted, it's probably a terrible analogy because you use characters yourself, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. The combat here is fun if you enjoy the process. If you don't enjoy the process, more instant gratification on elemental reactions, not thinking too much about it, maybe a Genshin's better for you. If you like more quick time based combat that is more directly rewarding off player pacing and like direct flurry, that's probably a Wuthering Waves. And there's nothing wrong with liking either of those games. I'm just saying, if those are the combat styles you're really going for, I don't necessarily think that this is going to be your cup of tea. Unless, of course, your main equalizer is you're obsessed with the graphics in this game, which I think is a great selling point. This is easily the best looking gacha game we've gotten yet in terms of graphic fidelity. Art style, everything subjective. Raw fidelity, like raw quality, that is indistinguishably, this is the best. There will be things in the future that will be better. For example, I think Enhancer, depending on how well that game comes out, and the DLSS and everything like that comes through, maybe it has more flair than this. But I can tell you, you can tell that they spent 4 to 5 years making this game because of how goddamn pretty it is. And just like, you get immersed. I haven't played a gacha game this much since probably Wuthering Waves launch. Yeah, like I dropped Chaos Zero Nightmare to play this because I love that game to bits, but this is taking up all of my time. People definitely have a idea about, as you can see in front of me, the world terraforming and everything to get around. Some people want mobile, like, you know, some people want like motorbikes and stuff like that. I can get it. I can understand the logic there because you don't want to go build the world yourself. And look, to be perfectly honest, I'm not against the idea of that. I just think the concept of Endfield is you make the game as you play. The whole point of proof of concept of this game that we will see in due time is the more you play, the more you get rewarded, okay? They don't really, you get a little bit of rewards day one, they don't want to give you much more than that. I've seen a lot of people say as well that you get very little pulls from playing 12 hours or so, stuff like that. If you've seen people arguing about pull amounts and stuff like, and everything along those lines, I've been playing a bit, don't get me wrong, but I currently have 40 pulls loaded here. Also, I have 29 origometry, and that is not including the 29 Origo ball things, whatever you want to call them, that I already dumped into the Originium Supply Battle Pass, alright? Which, by the way, you get all of your things back, and then some, providing you complete level 60. So, I don't see where we're only pulling 20 pulls, maybe if you're lucky, unlimited. On the main banner, I think I've pulled around 50 times. I did hit a 5-star early, if anyone cares about my current account. I have a Progranitic on this now. Absolutely flashbanged me. I got him like 20 pulls in on the perma banner. So yeah, you know, that's pretty cool. But we're not here to talk about the gacha. I'm just saying I haven't found that it's very scarce in return. Having not pulled at all, being level 33, you can tell, give or take, with what I've done, which mind you, I haven't done an insane amount of side missions or anything. This is just what I've gotten from playing. Okay, now I will keep you guys updated with how this goes, and by all means you guys can drop in a stream and ask what's up and everything. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I absolutely love this game like you wouldn't believe. It feels so goddamn firm, especially with the 120 FPS feature in the settings, and I am a firm believer that this game's only going to get better as time goes on, okay? If you're a Doom poster, putting anything on Twitter or wherever you want to put your media and just say this game is chopped or cooked, hey look, that's your prerogative. I really don't care. If you're doing it to make your wooba look better, I hope your wooba looks amazing. I'm going to sit here and play this and enjoy this, and no one screaming in my ear is going to make me think it's bad, alright? It's like gas station sushi. It tastes amazing when no one's telling you you're going to get fucking seasick. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Any questions, put them down below or message me in Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye now.